Okay, so let's start. Till yesterday, we are discussing database basics. Okay, so like what is database? What are database objects, tables, views, stored procedures, cursors, triggers, and what is on-premises data warehouses? What and within that in IT life, we have the terms like ETL and ELT. Okay, what is extract, transform, and load? What is extract, load, and transform? And for example, if they ask what do you prefer, either ETL or ELT? So yeah, the current trend is ELT only. Extract, load it, and then transform as and when required, or if it is required. That's it. Earlier they used to extract, transform, and load. Okay, and that's why there are many tools like ETL tools like Informatica, DataStage, Initio. Yeah, many tools are there. And of course, now also the latest cloud supporting ETL tools are there like Talent, Metallion. These are all there. So, but yeah, these are all the Talent and Metallion will do ELT. Of course, normal tools also we can do ELT, but in those days the best they were doing ETL, extract, clean the data, transform, and load. Okay, transforming means cleaning the data, removing duplicates, any null values, all that data cleaning activities. Okay, but ELT means extract, load it, and then only as per the reporting requirements they will clean it. Otherwise, they just leave it because they want to store or gather every data that is generated. Okay, so now yesterday we have also discussed about the data warehouse design. Okay, data warehouse design. As part of data warehouse design, we have seen star schema and snowflake schema. Okay, star schema means fact tables surrounded by denormalized dimension tables, and snowflake schema means fact tables surrounded by normalized dimension tables. Normalized means the dimension tables are further divided. We have defined here what is normalization. Okay, splitting of larger table into smaller tables is called normalization. What is denormalization? Means in denormalization, all the data will be present in single table only. We don't further split. Okay, so that is called denorm. Means we are not normalizing. Means we are not splitting. Okay, and another terms are like fact table. What is fact table? Numerical values or measures are called fact data or fact table, and dimension data means
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
I think Monica is not. Okay.
Yeah, Harika.
She can't hear the class. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, she pinged me that she is unable to hear, but now it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is able to hear now?
Yeah, can continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you are able to hear, right? You and Durga Prasad.
Yeah, from my side it is fine.
Yeah, Krishna, I'm able to hear.
Yeah. I think her mic issue or something.
Yeah, hi Krishna. Now I'm able to hear.
Okay, cool. So that is what facts and dimensions. So now we are moving further within the subject. So the next set of questions that come in the interview is this is the definite question in every interview. Okay, SCD. What is SCD they call? Okay. Actually, SCD stands for slow. I mean, he don't say slowly changing dimensions. Okay, SCD stands for actually slowly changing dimensions. We don't say whether slowly changing what is slowly changing dimensions. Rather, he will say what is SCD, just to check whether you know or not. If you are working person, you will know actually what is SCD. If you are not a working person, as soon as he asks SCD, you will think what is SCD, and then immediately he will know that you have not worked in real time. Okay, SCD stands for slowly changing dimensions. Till now we know actually what is dimension. Dimension means the data that describes the fact data. Fact data means only numerical values or measures will be there. Means numbers, quantity sold or quantity produced, total sales. So yeah, goods delivered or stock purchased, all quantity numerical values. So the dimension data that actually describes about what is the product name, product description, product color, product dimensions. So or the area of area of manufacturing or the location of manufacturing or the shipper name, all those things that describes about the item or that describes about the fact. Okay, so SCD means slowly changing dimensions. Okay, then first you will ask what is SCD. Then you will say SCD stands for slowly changing dimensions. Then what are different types of SCD? That is this next question. There are different types of SCDs are SCD type 1, SCD type 2, and SCD type 3. And SCD type 3. Okay, so of course, slowly changing dimensions type 1, slowly changing dimensions type 2, and slowly changing dimensions type 3. Okay, so why these are three? Actually, what is this SCDs or what is this dimension tables means? Actually, dimensions will change over time. Means this is description, right? For example, today some product may be coming in color some yellow. Then tomorrow he will just change the color to something like pink. For example, you take even Fair and Lovely, you take earlier it was a different color, now it's coming in a different color. Like that, you take anything. For example, teddy bar soap, which is used for children, it was coming in a different color earlier, now it's different. So like that, shapes, sizes, dimensions will change actually. Okay, so even so all those things are called, actually the thing is that dimension data will change over time. That is the thing. For example, you take employee data. His address may be today somewhere. After joining, he may change his address. So pin code will change, address will change. So like that. Or his designation also can change, because after maybe 1 year he got some promotion and his designation got changed. So like that. So that means dimensions will change over time. Okay. Okay, that's why they are called slowly changing dimensions. And there are different types of slowly changing dimensions, that is SCD type 1, SCD type 2, SCD type 3. And why there are three different types means, in real time, okay, real time means in IT, in the company, many people worried, think what happens in the company. I already said we load the data. Okay, that's what we do. Every day data will be generated and we load the data. And what is that we load the data? These fact tables and dimension tables only. But there we don't say fact table, dimension table, we just say tables. Because whether it's a fact table or dimension table, it's table. So we talk in terms of table. So within the dimensions, SCD type 1, SCD type 2, SCD type 3. So SCD type 1 means in these tables only current data will be maintained. Means, you see, there is always some table which holds only current data, latest data. For example, you take employee details. There may be many employees joined and left the company. So HR team should always have the current employee details only, right? So if they want previous employees, they may go to another table and they will refer. Okay, there is another table which holds the all the data. Okay, beginning from the company who all joined and who all left, everything will be there. But for day-to-day usage, for example, salary processing Okay, leave tracking. So for all of them, they need one table, that is this SCD type 1 table. Okay, that means these are all different tables, but in each table they will maintain different data. So SCD type 1 means slowly changing dimensions type 1. In these tables, they will only maintain current data. Okay, current data will be maintained. Latest data, current data means latest data will be maintained in SCD type 1. So that means, for example, everyday ATM transactions are generating or railway reservations are happening, right? So today ATM transaction, so only today's data will be maintained in this table. That's it. You don't store yesterday's data, day before yesterday. No, you don't store anything. It will store only today's data. Similarly, every day, tomorrow, it will store only tomorrow's data. That means every day it will have only latest data. So that is called SCD type 1. SCD type 1 means it contains only current data, or it maintains only the current data. Current data means latest data. SCD type 2 means actually we should tell SCD type 3, then I will tell SCD type 2. In SCD type 3, current data plus partial history will be maintained. Current data plus partial history. Partial history means I will tell you what is partial history. Partial history means current data plus last 3 months data, or last 6 months data, or last 1 year data, like that, or last current year plus last 3 years data, like that. That is SCD type 3. Okay, so you take for example telecom. For example, you have Airtel. Okay, you call to customer care. For example, I have recharged on November 1st. Okay, something, and I recharged it for let's say 1 year. Now it's only 23rd, right? So it's over. You are surprised why I have recharged it for 1 year, but it got expired today. So I'll call to customer care. Then he'll ask, okay, when did you recharge? You will tell the date. So if it is within the last 3 months or something, they will be able to see from their end itself, because they will have access to tables which will maintain current data plus recent history. That recent history can be last 3 months data, or last 6 months data, or last 1 year data. Okay, it depends on like domain to domain, like telecom, insurance, banking, or retail, like that. For example, if it is a that telecom, then they will have access up to around some 3 months or like that. For example, you take any supermarket data, okay, retail, then they will not maintain 3 months history, right? They will maintain at the max maybe 2 weeks or 1 month. That's it, because they don't need to maintain. If you want to report anything, you need to just, that's why they will write in the refunded, or any damage should be reported within 2 weeks. That's it. They will not maintain more than 2 weeks history, because that is supermarket goods are perishable, or in fact we kept with us 2 weeks means that's it. After that you cannot even report about it. So like that, it all depends on business to business. For example, you take banking. Of course, banking will maintain current data plus partial history plus of course full history also. That is SCD type 3. SCD type 3 will have current data plus full history. So see, now the classification is very clear. SCD type 1 will maintain only current data. Only means exclusively only. Okay, those SCD type 1 tables will maintain only current data, nothing else. And SCD type 3 will have current data plus partial history. Partial history means something like last 3 months data, last 1 year data, last two current data plus last 2 weeks or last 4 weeks, means 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. For example, you take railway reservation, they will maintain up to 1 year. Current data plus last 1 year, they will maintain. Okay. Of course, it doesn't mean that they don't store the history. For example, this one, you take only employees. In this table, they maintain only current data, SCD type 1. But they will have a separate table that is called history table, where they maintain complete history of all the employees since their beginning of their company. That means data will be maintained, but that's in a different table that is called history table. Okay. In real time also we'll have these type of tables. Okay. Some tables are SCD type 1 table, or it will may have only current data. If you need to have history data, you have to refer another table, because in that table only they will maintain the entire history. So for example, if you want to get details of the employees who already left, then you have to refer this SCD type 2 table. So like that. Okay. So yeah. So just they will just ask, what is SCD? SCD stands for slowly changing dimensions. And the next question is, what are different types of SCDs? That's it. SCD type 1, SCD type 2, SCD type 3. SCD type 1 means only current data will be maintained. SCD type 3 means current data plus partial history will be maintained. And SCD type 2 means current data plus full history will be maintained. Full history, beginning to end, everything will be maintained. There you see, in this class there is a separate video in my YouTube. You can also refer that actually. Okay. So basically all these things will be maintained use writing SQLs only. That's why I am telling SQL is so important. How to load only current data to the table? Okay, basically this is called truncate and load. Truncate and load. So truncate and load is again a query. Truncate table name means it will delete all the data, and then you will load. Load means you will insert the data. So in this way, SCD type 1 tables will be loaded. So that means basically you need to know SQL. First of all, you should know what is truncate. Truncate is used to delete all the data in one go. Load means inserting data. Okay. So SCD type 3, current data plus partial history. So current data means same. But here you don't do truncate. Truncate means you see it will delete all the data, right? So in SCD type 3, they don't do truncate and load, but they will insert everyday data. Okay. I mean, insert means load. Load everyday data into the table. Because every day it should load the recent data, right? Let everyday latest data plus delete old data. Older data which is older than specific time. Means, for example, we want to maintain only current days plus last 3 months. Then every day, that means, for example, you see, it maintains 90 days data, right? 90 days data. Okay, 90 days data. So tomorrow when you load data, that is 91 days it will over, right? So 3 months old data will be deleted. So every day on the table 90 days data only will be maintained. Okay, for example, today November 23. So August, September, October, November. Yeah, September 23 to till today 90 days. So tomorrow the September 23 data will be deleted. Day after tomorrow September 24 data will be deleted. Like that. So every day it will have only 90 days data. Okay, that means anything older than 90 days will be deleted in SCD type 3. Okay, so September, October, November. Okay. For example, today November 23. So that means up to September 23, 90 days. So tomorrow it will delete September 23. Then next day it will delete September 24, like that. So as and when one day data getting added, all the data will getting deleted. So always it will maintain only that 90 days data. So in SCD type 3, what you will do, every day you will load current data. That means insert into table. But once the data load happens, it will delete the older data. Okay. So based on whether you want to maintain 6 months data or 8 months data or 9 months data, so only that data will be maintained until time, and data older than that will be deleted. Okay, so basically in the post SQL they will write one delete query. Anyway, I will tell all those things, what is post SQL, what is pre SQL, and all those things. Means once the data is loaded, okay, all our data will be deleted. So basically first you will insert the data into the table, and then you will delete the data as per your number of days you need. Remaining data you will delete. So that is SCD type 3. SCD type 2 means there is no deletion, only because here you are maintaining full history. So what you will do is every day you load the data, but you will update it properly so that you will have proper tracking. For example, I am Krishna, joined as a software engineer, something like January 1st, 2023. Let's say today I got promotion into senior software engineer. Then my employee ID, okay, software engineer. And date of joining will be something like 01/01/2023. Okay, and last date will be active or something like 9999/12/31. So generally they will maintain I end it, or they'll keep it as the null. So what is this field? Actually, this is hire date. This is employee ID. Okay, this is name. This is designation. This is hire date. This is active or current status. Current status null means he is still active. Some people will maintain null, or some people will maintain 9999/12/31. Means this is two. Now we are in 2023, right? So generally this is called high end date. I mean, based on design, how we design, they will maintain this date, or they will keep current status null. Actually null means no value will be there here. Okay, that means he is active. So let's say today I got promotion. Okay, so this date will be 22/11/2023. It will be updated, and the same record will be inserted again with the new designation. Here instead of software engineer, it will be senior software engineer. It will be okay. So this start date will be 11/23. So, and this will become null. That means he is currently active in this role. So just by seeing this data, anyone will know actually, okay, this person Krishna joined as a software engineer on January 1st, 2023, and till November 22nd he worked as a software engineer. But from November 23 onwards, okay, he was promoted, or he was working as a senior software engineer, means he got promotion. That's what you can understand, senior, because designation changed. So now he is active in this role. So like that, that means from beginning to end, you will see every status. For example, there is another column Okay, department also in this department name. For example, he was working in, okay, so data warehouse team. Okay, then it will be there. So in the new role, let's say he got or he changed the team. Okay, with the promotion means he internally shifted and he changed it to something like data scientist. Okay, or data engineer. Then the department name will be data engineer or data scientist. So that means in the new record you will be able to see, okay, currently which department. So from January 1st to November 22nd, he was working in DW team. But from 2000 November, okay, November 23rd, he promoted as a senior software engineer. But I think department also he changed. That is, I think he got promotion in a new role, okay, in a new department. So like that, people can easily see seeing this data. So that is the importance of this history table. Very, very, very important SCD type 2. Okay. So in fact, because it gives meaningful information actually from beginning to end. Okay. So main question will come on SCD type 2 is how do you maintain history? How do you maintain history? Actually, in SCD type 2 implementing, we will have two columns, that is start date and end date. Start date and end date. Actually, this current status I said, right, it's actually an end date. Okay, so that's why end date will be I said 9999 or null. Okay, I mean companies are implementing in either of these things we can implement. Null means he is already active, there is no end date, means he is currently active. Already end date is there means it will have the actual end date that he is there in the department. But 9999 that's not end date. Actually, they will use it. For example, here I'll write 9999 This is called high end date. High end means 9999. Nobody will leave that right till that time. So they will use this as the high end date in the real time in the software data warehouse design. So wherever you see 9999 it means he is still active. Or some companies instead of that they will keep it as null. Okay, null means actually blank will be there. Yeah, that means he is still active in the department. If he is already left, let's say he already left, okay, then his end date will be, let's say today is December 31st. Let's say I'm thinking today is December 31st. Then his end date will be updated like this. That's it. So he shifted to, okay, data scientist team on November 23, but on December 31st he left the company. How can you know he left the company? Because the end date is December 31st. Let's say I'm thinking already December 31st over, let's say. Then December 31st, 2023, he left the company. Because there is no active record for that employee. How do you know there is no active record? There is no active record with this symbol. Symbol means null. Okay, if he is active, it should have some null value, null in the end date. There is no null value, so that means he will have his actual end date. So in that way, we can identify all the people when they started their journey in that company and till what date to what date, okay, they were employed there, and any change in the department, salary, everything, will come. Or for example, there is one more column here, let's say salary. Okay, then here you will also see while he joined as a software engineer, his salary is something like 25,000, you will see. Okay, so in the new role from this November 23rd onwards, his latest salary will be here, something like 65,000. Oh, so he is still active because here you see end date is null. So that means just by seeing this record, we can see that till November 22nd he is in data warehouse team. Now he changed to data science team, okay, from November 23, and he is still active in the team. Oh, his salary also got increased, and his designation also changed. Like that, we can see basically every status in this history table because it contains the complete history from the beginning to end. Okay, how do we implement? SCD type 2 can be implemented in different ways. Okay, and the most widely used method is the start date and end date method. Okay, two dates will be added to every record. Start date generally the hire date of the employee or the hire date of anything. Okay, and end date will be current date or when the employee left. Generally, end date will be null or 9999/12/31 if he is an active employee. Okay, if he is already left, the day when he left will be his end date. Okay, now I will ask one simple question. Okay, so now 1001 is one employee. There is another employee 1002. Okay, he is, for example, this KSD is a data engineer. He joined this. Okay, and yeah, he joined in data science. He joined with some 50,000. And I have one more guy. He is DBA. Okay, he joined in November 1st. Okay, so he belongs to something like admin team or DBA team. Okay, database team. His salary is something like 30,000 or yeah. So let's say our table data is like this. Okay, so I have taken only how many employees are there in this table? Employee ID, employee name, designation, hire date, end date, department name, and salary. Okay, how many employees are there here? 3 employees. 1001, 1002, 1003. So like that, you may have many, for example, 10,000 employees in a company. Okay, 10,000 or even 20,000 or 1 lakh employees, doesn't matter. Okay, your data will be like this in the table. So now he will ask you a question. I want to know who are all the active employees in my company. How do you write a query? I want to know who are all the active employees in my company. How do you write a query? He will say that I have a table. Okay. So like this he will give. Even in your entry he will give, okay, I have this table. You don't tell it says type 1, type 2, type 3. Doesn't matter actually. I have this table. Okay. I want to know the active employees from this table. How do you write? This is very, very simple query. In fact, you don't have to give the data. He will directly ask, I have SCD type 2 table. I want to find the current employees, current active employees in that company. How do you write a query? Okay. Can anyone tell? Monica or Durga Prasad?
Yeah. Now, Krishna, select the specified column. So select employee ID, name, design, and here this from employee table where end date is where end date is not equal to the higher date. You had told, right? So they are all current employees working in the company.
Okay. I think somebody pinged the query. So let me see what is the chat. Okay, Monica, select star from EMP where end date equals to not null. Okay, okay. Can you also write query, Durga Prasad?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, can you explain, Monica, like what does it mean? Select star from table where end date equals to not null. So can you tell me how does it give the only active employees? You people can mute it and write
Yeah,
the
yeah.
query. You people can mute it and write the query. No problem. Save some noise. Durga Prasad, you can type the query. Entire query, what you think, the query to fetch the active employees. So,
Already started typing it. Yeah.
yeah. You just send it once you type where end date
Yeah. And
equals.
put it in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Maybe some here and there some syntax errors or something. Some date conversion may be used. Functions have to be used.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. See,
Yeah.
I clear. You're actually right. Okay. But here you see, I already clearly gave the sample data. Okay.
Hmm.
I gave the sample data, right? I gave the table, column, sample data, everything. And from this data, I was asking you identify or write a query to identify the active employees. Okay. So this
Hmm.
question mark is there, right? This question mark, I also said it's a null. Okay. Generally, null you will see like this in question mark, or you will see null like that. Okay. So I already explained SCD type 2. If already employee already resigns, his end date will be updated. Or if he is already not resigned but present in another department or in another role, okay, the first record will be updated with the end date and the latest record will be there with the null. So I told everything, all these details. Now I am asking to
Hmm.
write query to identify the active employees. So okay, anyway, I'll answer one by one. Actually, Mounke, your question select star from employee where end date not null. Okay, that's not right. Why you're saying end date not null? Not null means you see these two will come. This is not null and this is not null.
Okay.
Okay, but actually these not nulls are actually closed records. Some end date is there here means this end date is there means this employee already left. Okay, he joined in
Okay.
November 1st and he left in November 20th. So when you put not null means you are identifying the closed records. No, so that's not correct. And whereas in Durga Prasad query, you can mute Monica. In Durga Prasad query, he used the high end date, but I have not given high end date, right? Durga Prasad, I have clearly so you can write select star from EMP
Okay. Yeah, Krishna.
where end date. Okay, end date is Actually, what you wrote is right. For if I'm using, let's say in my design, if I'm using, for example, here I'm using 9999 1231. okay, to identify the current active records in my design. If I gave data like this, then your query is right. Okay, let's say I'm using 99991231, okay, to show it as high and date as the active, means he is still active. 9999 means it's future, right? Too far, that means he is active. But in my design, I'm not using this approach. So you can say that high and date is null. Then it will give the current active records. Okay, if I'm using this
Okay.
design, then your query is right. High and date equals to 99991231 is right if I'm using that. But I already gave here nulls, means I'm using this design approach. High and date I left it blank, means they are still active. So you can just write selector from EMP where end date is null. End date is null means there is no end date. There is no end date means they are
Yeah.
the active employees. So actually these two records will come. Which two? 101 and these two. The null end date null are there, right? Those two records will come.
Mm.
That means they are the active employees.
Okay.
1003 is already left. End date is already updated. See, 1003 end date is already updated with November 20. Means he already left. End date is there means he already left.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So end
Yeah.
date is not there for which records 1001 and 1002. So these records you need actually. At least first of all, tell me these are the two records who are active that you understood from this data. These are the two records that are active employees. Did you understand that point from this data?
Yeah, Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Monica, you understood, right? That these are the two active employees currently active. So,
Yes, Krishna.
yeah. So you should write query to get these two records. Okay. So those two records, how you will get by writing like this. Select star from EMP where end date is null. Okay. End date is null. Okay. Then these two records will come. Actually, they are the current active employees. Okay. And one more thing. I see, for example, Monica wrote like this date equals to not null. So like that. Or for example, date equals to null. We should not write like that. Okay. So when we are using null, is null or is not null, like that we should write.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Null we cannot equate to other things. So we have to write end date is null or end date is not null, like that. Okay. Fine. So when we do the writing queries, we'll come to know all these things. Okay, so yeah, this is the way we identify the active employees from the SCD type to table. Okay, so yeah, so this is brief about slowly changing dimensions. Okay, so yeah, very important with respect to interviews. In almost every interview, they will ask what is SCD and what are different types of SCD, because this is what we will be writing. Okay, in our loading process, we maintain full history. So currently we load the current data and then update the previous data to previous date. Okay, so like that, and we'll insert new data. Okay, insert new data. If it is already existing record, you close that end date to current date minus one, and you will insert new data with the new set of records. So yeah, same. You play with insert, update, delete these DMLs. If you are working as a developer or data engineer, these things. If you are working as DBA, actually I love DBA role. DBA is very easy. Okay, so because you will be supporting deployments. Deployments means developers will do the code, you just execute them in the whatever environment, QA environment or prod environment. Of course, if you want to be DBA, you should be very good in performance tuning and system optimization, okay, system performance issues, those things you should be very good. You don't have to write much code there, but if you know the coding, you will actually enjoy the job. Coding means SQL only, okay, nothing else. Okay, cool. So the next concept will be SQL. I mean, basic. I will touch everything in SQL. Okay, when we start that tool Snowflake, at the time we will do the implementation. Okay, so SQL means structured query language. Okay, so in structured we will have different things like DDL, DML, DQR, or even they also call DRL, data retrieval language or data query language. Okay, TCL, transaction control language, and all. Okay, so DDL means data definition language. Okay, so data definition language means create, create table, create view, create function, create procedure, anything that create. And alter. Alter means alter is used for adding column, removing column, changing the data type, or changing the size, all those things. If any table is there, you want to change its data types, change its size. Size means from character 20 to character 30, or character 30 to character 50, or integer to big int, or big int to something else, decimal. So at that time you will be using alter. Basically, alter is used to do any changes to the DDL. Okay, so create, alter, drop, truncate, all these things are examples of DDL, data definition language. Create means we have said, right, database objects, table, view, procedure, function, trigger, database, user, schema, anything. First you have to create it. So that is what it is, create. Alter means once you created anything, if you want to make any changes, you have to use alter. Drop means if you want to drop any object, you have to use drop. Truncate. Truncate will delete all the data of the object. Only data. Okay, detail will still be there. For example, you have employee table. You give truncate table employee, then all the data will be deleted. But table will be there. That is truncate. But if you give drop table EMP, then entire table will be gone. You will not have the DDL also. Okay, yeah, I mean, a few years ago, this is the standard question actually. What is the difference between drop and truncate? Or delete and truncate actually. I mean, they can ask anything. Drop means once you dropped it, that's it, it gone. We will not find that object again. You have to recreate. Drop means it will drop the DDL and data also. But whereas in truncate, only data will be deleted. Okay, table DDL will exist. So if you want, you can insert again. That is truncate. So we should be anyway. We should be careful while dropping any table or truncating, because we are playing with production data. But this is just to know, okay, what are the examples of DDL? Create, alter, drop, truncate. DML means insert, update, delete, of course, merge. I mean, these are all new. Okay, merge, upset. So these are all okay, but merger, upset, all of them will do insert, else update. Insert means insert else update means new records insert. If it's already existing record, update. That is actually nothing but merge. Upset. Upset means update else insert. If it's existing record, update else insert. So everything will be do with insert, update, delete only. So these are all called DMLs. Okay. DQL or DRL. DQL means data query language or data retrieval language. So select. So this select is used for what purpose? Okay, select is used for selecting the data from any object. It may be any table. You can give select star from table. Okay, or if it is a view, select star from view, or you can mention the columns also. So if you want to get the data or if you want to retrieve the data from any database object, you have to use select. Okay, so select is used to retrieve the data. It may be from a table or it may be from a view, or even if you write a stored procedure inside, you will be using select statement only to retrieve the data. Okay, so in insert select, you're trying to insert data into one table by selecting another table. There is also, you will write insert into table, select star from table. So select is basically used to retrieve the data from a table. So that is about select, but there is separate session on select. Okay, so I will tell that after this. So then TCL. TCL means transaction control language, like grant and revoke. Okay. Transaction control language is commit and rollback. Okay, commit means committing the changes. Rollback means rollbacking the changes. For example, you inserted some data and later you found that you wrongly inserted or you updated wrongly. Okay, then you want to roll back. You can just type rollback. Then whatever you did changes, they will be rolled back. Or you inserted or you updated and you are sure that whatever you did is right. Then you can give commit. So the commit and rollbacks are called transaction control language. Yeah. So examples are commit and rollback. Yeah, this we have already seen. Okay. Sources, ETL, data warehousing. That's also, this is different ways of getting the data, from different websites, mobile phones. Yeah, different sources. You will get the data into warehouse. Okay. Yeah, these are all we already discussed. Okay, what is a database and different databases and database objects. Yeah, in SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay, and DDL means Data Definition Language. DML means Data Manipulation Language. DQL Data Query Language. DCL Data Control Language. Yeah, DCL Data Control Language. Yeah, DDLs create, alter, drop, truncate. Okay, so those are the examples of DDLs. Okay, so anyway, data types means I will tell you when we create table. Okay, every field we need to define some data types. For integer fields something else, for character fields something else, for date fields something else. That we will see when we create table. So yeah, this is the way we create table actually. Okay, create table, table name. Okay, so field data type, field data type, field data type, like this we create actually. So okay, this is drop. Yeah, anyway, this we will see in during practice. Truncate, then DML insert, update, delete, and merge, and all those things. Yeah, so the other one is TCL, transaction control language. Okay, TCL means commit and rollback. Okay, and DCL, data control language. that is, what is that, commit and rollback, and yeah, grant and revoke. Grant means you granting permissions. Okay, you need access to certain object. Okay, so you need to grant. For example, you will join in a company, okay, and you need access on certain database. Then your user will be created, and that user will be given access to the requested schemas or databases. Grant. And let's say you left the company, then they will revoke the access and they will drop your user as part of data governance. Means an employee, if he leaves, he should not have access to their production database, right? So as soon as the employee leaves, they will initiate, access revoking and dropping the user. So like that. So let's say, okay, grant and revoke, right? Let's say you have, you have doubt, okay, grant and revoke is actually DCL or is there any separate name? Yeah. Just come here, google.com. So DCL example. Yeah, grant and revoke. Okay, so like that, you can just reconfirm. Okay, so because whatever we do, we should do it before exam. I mean, before interview only. We should not make mistake in the interview. Whatever you want to confirm from Google before only. Okay, so TCL or DCL, both are same. TCL means that is more relevant for transactions commit and rollback. DCL means data control language, grant and revoke. Means you are controlling the access permissions, grant and revoke. Okay, so in this, the most important thing is this insert, update, deletes, and select. These are all important because every day we load the data, right? So we insert the data, we update the data, we delete the data, and of course, the select is most important. We write different joins and all. Okay, of course, create, alter, these are all one-time activities. Table you will create only one time. After that, you will only insert. And alter also very rare. If there is a requirement to change of data types or anything, we will change. Otherwise, it won't change. And drop we rarely use. In fact, we never use unless that object is not required. Truncate, yeah, depends on if you are loading SCD type 1 tables, then you will use truncate, otherwise you don't use. So yeah, we'll use detailed session on this select tomorrow. Very important class. Okay, so we will see what is select. Okay, what is the components within the select, like from clause, where clause, group by, having. Okay, so all those things, when to use group by, when to use having, when to use where, what is the use of from clause, how to mention different multiple tables in the select. So all these things we will see tomorrow. Okay, cool. Do you have any questions?
Krishna, do you use any scripting language like PLSQL, that of Oracle database, or no? Only SQL is required for Snowflake.
Sorry, Durga Prasad, any?
Do we use any PLSQL type of scripting
No, no, no,
language?
no, nothing.
No,
Nothing. Okay.
nothing.
Only see
Only,
PLSQL is there, long ago. For example, you worked on that Oracle around some 10 to 15 years ago, right? In those days,
yeah, yeah.
PLSQL was mostly used. But after ETL tools
Hmm.
came, okay, people they never used the PLSQL because all the job is done by ETL tools. Okay. Now the
Okay.
cloud data
Hmm.
warehouses like Teradata, Redshift, Snowflake, BigQuery, they all have load utilities like copy and unload. Okay, so these
Okay.
jobs only we load the data. Okay, we don't do any
Okay.
PLSQL or anything. That's why it is very easy
Okay.
actually. Okay, we don't have to know complex, programming kind of thing. Only select you need to
Oh,
know. Okay, select means how to use where, how to use group by, how to use having, or how to use
okay.
joins, how to use aggregate functions, and insert, update,
Hmm.
delete, how to join two tables, or how to update from two tables. Yeah, these are all very, very simple, straightforward, queries. Okay,
Okay.
so you don't
And
need to write.
like Informatica Power Center, we have drag and drop like things graphical or in processing of data transformations. How is it like in Snowflake, Krishna?
No, no, no. There is nothing like drag and drop. Okay, that is
Hmm.
ETL and all. That is ETL tool, right? So that is GUI. Okay, where you can drag and drop. You need to create mappings. Okay, there will be transformations. You will create mappings, workflow sessions, and all those things. But
Yeah.
here there is nothing. Okay, your source will be there. You will connect to source through using ODB, JDBC. Okay, and your target will be
Hmm.
there. There also you will connect using some endpoint. Okay, and
Hmm.
everything through queries only, especially Snowflake. Everything you will just write queries. Okay, you will pull the data.
Okay.
You will use some copy command. Okay, copy table from that source. That's it. It will come to your storage, and you will write some inserts,
Hmm.
updates. Okay, so
Okay.
that's any even Redshift job, Snowflake job, BigQuery job, they all to do with SQL queries only. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah,
Okay.
very easy. Okay, but only see SQL also. SQL is very easy. Okay, you can see my videos also already there. Okay, and there is nothing easy than this SQL in entire software. Okay, you don't need to know Python. You don't need to know complex PL/SQL programming. You don't need to know any
Hmm.
Scala or any nothing. Okay, only
Okay.
this is
Okay.
the
Yeah.
easiest software job, database engineer or database developer. Okay.
Okay, Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Any other question? Manu,
No
do you
from
have?
my side, Krishna.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Durga Prasad.